How to ramp up sales reps in a scale-up? This is a fundamental question because on the one hand, as a scale-up, you want to maintain and increase your growth rates, and you do this by adding people. On the other hand, adding people is a downward drag since you invest resources in them in the form of people, time, and money. So how can you minimize that downward drag? Let me first tell you how I did it incorrectly myself. When I had to triple my teams, I asked my high performers to be involved in the process. And obviously, as high performers, they wanted to help. What we did notice, however, is that my high performers started to miss their sales quotas because they had so much time in onboarding those new hires. This in turn had an impact in the total team's performance as well as the motivation because you had missed revenue, you had broken processes, and so forth. So what did I do then and what did I learn from it? So for me, what I will tell you now is something that is a best practice for me. And there are three distinct steps. The first step is document everything and create an enablement process. And what do you do in this? You make sure that you document everything and you note down what works, but also what doesn't work and why things don't work. You will also create playbooks, scenarios, scripts, different processes, because we all know sales is a system and you cannot just wing it. And especially when you onboard people, when you have that documented processes, they can go there and look at it rather than constantly asking those high performers what to do or where to go to find something. Also, when you create this, make sure that the new hires understand what are the expectations. What are the expectations at the end of the onboarding, but also at the end of the first quarter, second quarter, and what is the future path. So in other words, make sure that they know what they should be able to do when. Then when you have an onboarding program, make sure that you plan based on these expectations, but also that those high performers know when they should be doing something so that they can plan it in their day-to-day job. And then when you have that onboarding program, make sure that you have an assessment at the end of the onboarding program that you know a benchmark of where they are and what are the gaps so you can help them filling those gaps so their performance increases. And when we talk about filling those gaps, we come at the second element of the best practice, and this is intense coaching. And intense coaching, again, on different fields, right? So on the one hand, as a sales leader, I see it on two levels. The first level is on the well-being, because when you work in a scale-up, we are used to the rhythm. New hires, you can see it as they're standing on a station, there's a high-speed train coming, and they have to jump on it right on time. And this can be literally a shocker on their system. So make sure that the transition is smoothened out. The second thing is when you then work on the gaps, there will obviously be multiple gaps, and the reflex can be to work every week or every 2 weeks on another skill or on another gap. Best practice is really to work on one skill per quarter, and this will often have an impact already on the different skills and on the different elements in the sales process. When we talk about coaching, we also talk about involving the high performers. So what I first did incorrectly, so I made a lot of mistakes in hiring people and in ramping up people, is that I had one buddy that was responsible for everything to ramp up that salesperson. Later, I evolved the buddy role into a coordinator, and this had much better effects because you involve the other high performers and everybody is strong in certain elements. So I had people that were strong in analytics, others in discovery, others in more complex environments, others in forecasting. So the buddy coordinated with those other high performers in planning and into ramping up that new hire. And another thing that's important is to let them taste the real environment. For me, it is a red flag when new salespeople don't talk to clients within the first month. And actually, in my experience, it often does not work out. So let them talk with real clients from week 2 onwards, whether it's their future clients or just other clients and that they join in conversations. Also, let them practice with the entire team. We spoke about the coaching from a sales leader point of view, coaching from a buddy and a peer point of view, but also on the group coaching. Let them also participate, maybe the first session as an observer, but then on they should be fully participating. And when we talk about fully participating, we come at the third element in the best practice, and this is let them contribute. Another mistake I made was, and I see this often happen with other environments as well, is that both the new hire and the company see that new hire as a blank sheet, as junior. So they often think, oh, I need to be quiet for 6 months and I just need to soak everything in. No, best practice is to let it use the luggage they come with and try to find out what gaps do we have in our process, what can we learn from them, and if they see something that we can improve, let them make a case and speak up. And you will also see in motivation and involvement, this really helps them ramping up faster. So again, in the best practice to ramping up people faster in a scale up, you have 3 elements. The first one, document everything and have an enablement process. The second thing is coaching intensely. And the third thing is let them contribute.